In the world of enterprise AI, it's really tempting to search for that one single perfect model. But what if the real secret, the real power, isn't in just one model, but an entire ecosystem? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today with Treecapital's ANVAI. This isn't just another model off the shelf. It's a complete open source framework, and it's built from the ground up to give you total control.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the big problem that ANVEN was actually built to solve. Then we'll get into its super flexible family of models and the toolkit that developers get to play with. After that, we'll see how you can deploy it in your own environment, on your terms. And finally, we'll tie it all together to really understand the ANVEN advantage. Okay, let's set the scene here. Look, the days of just plugging into some third-party AI with a simple API call, well, those days are kind of numbered for serious businesses. The real frontier now is building your own proprietary AI systems. We're talking about systems where you own the data, you own the logic, and most importantly, you own that competitive edge. And that brings up the huge questions that every CTO and every tech leader is asking right now. How do we get total control over our own data? How do we guarantee security for our sensitive info and meet all the compliance rules? And how do we actually tune the performance for our specific needs? It becomes pretty clear pretty fast that a standard black box API just doesn't cut it. And that right there is exactly where the ANVEN framework steps in. It's designed as a completely open source, end-to-end ecosystem. This isn't just about getting an answer from an AI. No, it's about giving you all the tools you need to build, to refine, and to deploy your own powerful AI, all while keeping absolute governance over the entire process. So where do we even begin? Well, at the very heart of the framework is this incredibly diverse family of models. Each one is tailored for a specific job, perfectly balancing raw power with precision and, of course, efficiency. First up, you've got a choice between two main architectures. The lightweight models are your text workhorses. They're built for speed and efficiency. But then you have the integration models. These are powerful multimodal systems that can actually understand and reason about images. This makes them a super simple drop-in upgrade for any visual tasks you might have. But the flexibility doesn't stop there. It's also about performance. You can use the standard, full precision models, or you can use what are called quantized versions. Think of it like this. It's like compressing a massive photo. You make the file way smaller and faster to load, but the picture still looks practically identical. Quantization shrinks the model, which makes it dramatically faster and uses way less memory, all without a noticeable hit to its accuracy. So what does this all mean in practice? It means you get to pick the exact right tool for the job every single time. Need AI to run inside your mobile app or on an edge device? That smaller, quantized model is perfect. Building a big web application that needs that full, uncompromised precision? The standard BF16 version is your go-to. And of course, anytime you need to understand what's in an image, the integrations model has your back. Okay, having awesome models is one thing, but how do you actually build with them? That's where the developer toolkit comes in. And this is what really elevates ANVEN from just a collection of models to a true professional platform. If you have your own special proprietary data, ANVEN gives you this really clear 4-step workflow to make its models smarter. You prep your data, you run the training process to basically tweak the model's brain, you validate its performance to make sure it's up to snuff, and then you deploy your new specialized model. It's a systematic way to teach the AI your unique business. And how do you know if it's actually working well? Through something called application evaluation. Honestly, just think of this as unit testing, but for AI. It's a super critical process that gives you hard data, objective numbers, to measure and optimize everything from accuracy to cost and security. It turns the guesswork into, is this good enough, into a real science. ANVEN also gives you a whole menu of fine-tuning methods to fit your resources. I mean, you can do a complete overhaul if you got the massive compute power, or you can use these super efficient methods like LoRA to make smaller, targeted changes. There's even something called QLoRA, which is so efficient, and you gotta hear this, you can fine-tune these massive models on a single consumer-grade GPU. That is a total game changer, making this tech so much more accessible. And maybe the most important part, you are not locked into some proprietary walled garden. ANVEN integrates beautifully with the tools that developers already know and love, from LangChain for building complex apps to PyTorch, ExecuTorch for deploying on mobile and edge devices.
It just works with the modern tech stack.
So you've picked the right model, you've used the tools to customize it. But that's only half the battle, right? You still have to deploy it securely, and you have to do it on your own terms. This is where ANVEN's flexibility is just a massive win for the enterprise. ANVEN supports pretty much any private cloud setup your company needs. So whether you need maximum data privacy in a completely isolated environment, or you need global resilience with a cross-region setup, or maybe you just want to avoid being locked into one cloud vendor, the framework is designed to fit right in. And hey, if you're moving off an older API, there's a clear 4-stage migration path. It's a really low-risk, methodical approach. It starts with assessment, moves to a proof of concept to make sure everything works, and then uses a slow, phased rollout to guarantee a smooth transition before you move into continuous optimization. You see, it all comes down to choice. You can go for a really simple zero-ops approach using managed services like Bedrock or Azure AI. Or you can take complete total control with your own bare metal servers for absolute governance over every last component. The deployment strategy adapts to your exact technical and security needs. So after looking at the models, the tools, and all that deployment flexibility, let's bring it all home. Let's summarize the core value, the real reason why ANVEN is setting a new standard for the enterprise. The ANVEN advantage really comes down to 4 key things. First, absolute governance. Your data, your models, your rules. Second, optimized performance, with a specific model for any job you can think of. Third, that end-to-end toolkit that takes you all the way from an idea to a deployed application. And finally, open source flexibility, so you can innovate completely freely without ever being locked into a vendor. Ultimately, ANVEN is all about putting the power back in your hands. It's your data, they're your model.